Daniel Colicchio.
Thank you, Mr. Colicchio. Mr. Colicchio, you're here on 2 Superior Court probation violation warrants. These are for alleged violations of terms 3, 4, and 5. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing November 18th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. I'm affirming the bonds and the warrants. It's $250 in one, $100 in the other. Total is $350. It's secured appearance, meaning that you can technically work with a bail bonding company. Because the number's so low, I don't know if a bail bonding company will work with that number. It is certainly possible, though, so there will be phones available to you. If you pay your bonds, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to possess any weapons. You're also not to possess or consume any alcohol. You must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department and contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Mr. Colicchio, do you have any questions?
Yeah, with this case, I heard what you were saying to him, but I'm actually complying with my Tempe probation. I'm on 2 different probations, and she was the one that let me know that I did have the warrant, and she helped me actually. I'm supposed to get a phone today, or if today's Monday or Sunday or whatever, but I'm supposed to get a phone. I had set up because my phone got stolen, and they kept telling me that I had to wait 30 days to get one of those Obama phones because I'm on the street and I have nothing. But I was supposed to go today to go get one, and then I also been going to job interviews and stuff and all that stuff. I mean, and I am complying with the Tempe probation, and I was trying to comply with these guys because they're going to set me up with programs to get off the street. Because I've been on the street. I don't have $350. I mean, I'm doing the best I can right now, but like I said, this wasn't an intentional thing. Yeah, I've been complying with my probation. He was going to help me get into a program, but then had the issue with the phone, and I understand that like people do whatever they need to do to get to the probation. I was in the process of doing that, of getting a new phone, to be in contact with my probation officer, because my Tempe probation officer, she's the one that directed me. She said, you could just call, you get when you get your phone and everything, you could get it settled and they could squash the warrant for you. She's the one that actually told me about it.
Yeah. Well, I guess, Mr. Colicchio, so, I mean, if you're talking with your Tempe probation officer and she's saying that to you, I mean, why not use the phone then and say...
Because I've seen her in person.
Okay. Did you talk to her about, like, hey, can I borrow your phone? Can we reach out?
I didn't. I should have. I mean, like I said, there was a lot of things going on at the time, you know, but like I said, I was in the process of doing it. I was getting the phone today to call them.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I'm not, and you see how low the thing is. I've been complying with everything else. I didn't bring a new charge. I was complying with the police when I got arrested, you know, and they didn't find anything on me. You know what I mean? I'm really just trying to get my stuff together. You know, and the phone that I did use to call my Tempe probation officer was somebody that I was staying with, but they ended up kicking me out of the house before I got a chance to use their phone, because I was using their phone. And we got into a big thing, and they kicked me out. I mean, I'm trying to stay straight. I'm trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, here's the situation, sir. I mean, so part of it is, I mean, look, you've already been violated once before, right? Yeah. You had your probation reinstated, and then it wasn't very long thereafter
because
of
the whole
stopped having contact with probation again. And
but I've been in contact with my Tempe, and like I said, it's not like I blew it off. It's not like I caught any charge. It's not like I failed drug tests. It's, you know what I mean? I was doing everything I can. I'm in the process of getting a job to get off the street so I can finish the probation. My probation officer was in the process. We were in the process of getting into a program to get me off the streets. So it's not like I forgot about this or anything. And like I said, I was planning on getting the phone today. Even if you look through my stuff that I have, it was an appointment at like 9 o'clock in the morning to go get a phone. And my first thing was to contact probation, because I've been doing this too much. I don't want none of this. And it's a low bail, so it's not like I caught a new charge. It's not like I failed drug tests. I was complying up into the thing, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and I'm giving my word that as soon as I get my phone, I'm in contact. Hell, if I'm already here and I get released in the morning, I could go to probation now. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, right. So, but here's the situation, Mr. Colicchio, look, and I mean, honestly, I've gone back and forth on this, but ultimately, here's the situation. You've been violated before.
Okay?
Yes, so you know what happens if you don't remain in contact. Wait, please don't interrupt me. I'll listen to you now. You know what happens if you don't remain in contact. Had you self-surrendered, you'd be on your way in a heartbeat, right? You've had months to get this taken care of. You've had months to self-surrender, to go down to a probation office, talk to the probation officer. And the problem, sir, is it's too convenient of an excuse that you have. I mean, you're giving me all these excuses. And no, please don't interrupt me. You're giving me all these excuses, and I think if you were really being honest, like, if you really believe those are great excuses, then you're wait, Mr. Cliccio, you're lying to yourself. You know they're not. And that's the problem, is if you came in here and you said, hey, look, I messed up, that's not a good excuse to not have a phone, because it's not. You've had months to borrow a phone. You've had months to go down and talk to your probation officer. Mr. Cliccio, please stop interrupting me. And so that's the problem, though, is that I don't know if you really believe the excuses that you're giving me are good excuses, because the problem is, as I see it, if I release you and you think that's a good excuse, then the next time you lose your phone, you say, hey, no problem, I've lost my phone, I don't need to worry about this, because they're going to let me out. And it's not a good reason, Mr. Cliccio, is what I'm telling you. But you haven't. You haven't, Mr. Cliccio, so please stop interrupting me. I'm keeping the bonds in place. It's $350.
That's bullshit, because I told
Thank you, Mr.
probation.
Cliccio.
I told
We're
probation.
done.
I told
Thank
you I'm
you, sir.
complying with probation. That's fucking bullshit, man.
Ernesto Carpio and then Stephen Weaver will be on deck. All right. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Ernesto Carpio,
Thank you, Mr. Carpio. Mr. Carpio, you're here on 2 Superior Court probation violation warrants. These are for alleged violations of terms 3, 4, and 5. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing scheduled November 18th, 8:30 a.m. That'll be at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. I am affirming bond in the amount of $250 in each of the 2 warrants. Your total bond is $500. It's secured appearance, meaning you can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. 10%, excuse me, it's less than $1,000, I'm sorry. So I think a bail bonding company, at least there will be some that will work with $500. I don't know what their terms would be. If you pay your bond, you'll be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to possess any weapons, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Mr. Carpio, do you have any questions?
Yes, sir. When I got put on probation, my father was found dead in his trailer, and not as soon after that, I got cellulitis that's eating up my arms. I've been in and out of the hospital. I got bandaged from the bottom of my ankles to the top of both of my feet. They swell up, they leak. And I've been in and out of the hospital. I've been trying to get back on my feet and to get over that. I knew I should have asked for a phone somewhere at a hospital or something. I probably could have used it. I know I probably could have used it. But I was under the influence of medication that they were trying to help me so my legs swelling go down from my cellulitis, because they could turn it into MRSA or something, and they said that'll kill you. So I got wounds here in both arms and both of my legs. I'm trying to get back on track. I didn't let my PO know when I first met her, because it was just a quick meeting, because she had a ghost. And and then my dad passed away, buried him. Like everything fell down on me in one time.
Yeah. Well, so Mr. Carpio, in regards to your father, I mean, my condolences. I am really sorry to hear that. But what I will say, sir, is unfortunately you're not telling me anything of why your excuses for not contacting probation yesterday and the last few months, why anything's going to be different tomorrow.
Yeah. But I was in the hospital. I couldn't get there.
Well, I understand, Mr. Carpio, but then you've got to make a phone call. I mean, a phone call to your probation officer explaining the situation, that's going to help a lot. A self-surrender once you get out of the hospital. Hey, I know I've got a problem. I'm going to go right down to the probation office. That's going to, these are the options you have. If you'd self-surrendered, I'd release you right now.
I got out.
Right?
I was, but the police from the channel, they told me that I had probation. I was already on probation. And I had 2 more felonies, so that was 4. And I'm like, where did that come? I didn't do nothing.
Yeah. So, Mr. Carpio, and I don't know the situation with that again. You had the opportunity to get down to probation. So I am keeping the bond in place. It is $500. But what I hope for you, Mr. Carpio, is that you, in the future, I'm sure there's going to be bad, frustrating, awful things that happen to you. Because it happens to everybody.
All right, yeah.
All right, thank you, sir. Stephen Weaver, and then Rebecca Edwards will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Stephen Weaver.
Mr. Weaver, you're here on a Superior Court probation violation warrant for alleged violations of terms 3 and 5. I have appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing on November 18th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. Weaver, I am affirming the bond in the amount of $150. With secured appearance, technically you can work with a bail bonding company. However, that amount is so low, I don't think any will work with that number. I may be mistaken, though. If you pay your bond, you'll be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to possess any weapons, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol. You must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department and contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Mr. Weaver, do you have any questions?
No, I don't think I do.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Before I see Ms. Edwards, I have some DUI warrants to resolve, so we are going to take a brief recess. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Rebecca Edwards, 3.
Thank you, Ms. Edwards. Ms. Edwards, you're here on a Superior Court failure to appear warrant. You have a status conference November 25th, 8:31 a.m., preliminary hearing November 27th, 8:31 a.m. Ms. Edwards, I'm going to give you another opportunity to get to court. I'm going to release you on supervised release. So that means you're going to leave here in about 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates, promising to comply with pretrial services supervision, and with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. Ms. Edwards, do you have any questions?
No, this is my first time having to leave with anything other than just being OR'd. Does that just mean I'm having pretrial, they're going to be like my parole or probation type of thing, like where I have to report to them?
Yeah, great question. It's a little bit like that. They'll give you information on it.
Wonderful.
And I think it's just that you're supposed to check in with them.
Okay.
But all that information will be provided to you.
Okay,
All right.
fantastic.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you
Edwards.
very much.
You are welcome. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Gabriel Lobato and then Jacob Cruz will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Gabriel Abato.
Thank you, Mr. Lobato. Sir, you're here on a West McDowell Justice Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations of one count of reckless driving, a Class 2 misdemeanor, one count of exceeding the posted speed limit by over 20 miles per hour. That's a Class 3 misdemeanor. You're not entitled to court-appointed counsel due to the nature of these charges. However, you can hire your own attorney if you wish to do so. You have an arraignment hearing at the West McDowell Justice Court on November 26th at 1:30 p.m. Mr. Lobato, I am releasing you on your own recognizance, so you are going to leave here in about 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. Mr. Lobato, do you have any questions?
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm sorry. No, it just slipped my mind.
No, that's okay. All this information, the address, date, time, it'll all be in the paperwork that'll be handed to you when you're...
Well, actually, you know what?
Yeah.
You said I'm going to be released like 4 to 6 hours. How fast would I get my stuff that I have into evidence?
I think that they hand that to you when you are...
When I'm released?
When you're released. I don't know that for sure. The officers will be able to answer that question for you.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lobato. Good luck to
you.
you. Jacob Cruz and then Freddie Ramos will be on deck. Jacqueline, would you be willing to call the interpreter? Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Jacob Cruz, 10.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Mr. Cruz, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations, one count of possession or use of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony, one count of aggravated assault of an officer, a Class 5 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference November 25th, 8:31 a.m., preliminary hearing November 27th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. Cruz, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. So that means you're going to leave here in about 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to initiate contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses, or have any physical contact with any alleged victims. You are not to possess any weapons, and you must submit to DNA and fingerprinting within 5 days of today's date at the arresting police department. Mr. Cruz, do you have any questions?
So in 5 days, give DNA? What did you say, sorry, what was that last part?
Yeah, so within 5 days of today's date. So at any point between now and 5 days from now, you need to reach out or go down to the arresting police department and provide fingerprints and DNA. They'll be able to give you information about that. All right, Mr. Cruz, any other questions? Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.